Cooler Master's CM Storm division are back with a new product. This is the first for 2011. This is called the Enforcer. It's a mid-tower case designed primarily for the gamer, and it actually endorses quite a lot of features that we've seen on the HAF 912. Certainly the inside of it follows a similar design concept in terms of the layout and also the features. But the exterior, it's got a windowed side panel so you can check out your hardware. It's got a front fascia which is rather aggressive and actually models itself on the futuristic soldier found on the packaging. The Enforcer is priced at around £75, 84 euros and 121 US dollars. And it's going to be up against quite a lot of stiff competition. You know, you've got the likes of the HAF 912 Plus itself, the 692, the Bit Phoenix Survivor, and a few others as well in that category. So it's been certainly quite a long time since CM Storm launched a new product, so I'm quite looking forward to this one. And as usual, what I'll do is I'll take you on a quick tour of the case itself. We'll give you a feel for the features, you know, the interior, the space, show you how loud the case fans are, and then I'll finish up with my own personal opinion. At the front of the Enforcer there, we've got a large opening for the 200mm fan. So behind these perforated mesh panels here, we've got the 200mm fan, which is a red LED lit one. So it's going to emit a nice red warm glow when we've got it powered up. And this has a fan filter behind it, so from the interior we can remove this fan filter and clean it when it's dusty. So you can see here the perforated mesh sections, there's 4 of them, and that's just to allow the airflow to come in from outside the case, because obviously this is an intake fan, it needs to draw in the air from outside. And then moving up the case, we've got there the front door which opens out, and this reveals to us the 4 5¼ bays. The bottom one is actually a 3.5 inch adapter, so inside there we can typically install something like an SD card reader or something with functionality similar to that. And then we've got the hinges, which are quite sturdy. You can see there's no play up, moving it up or down. It literally just moves really nice like that, and the magnet just allows it to close like that. Up at the top of the Enforcer, we've got the front panel connectivity. We've got USB 3 port, USB 2 port, headphone and microphone jacks, a USB 2 port, another one, another USB 3 port. We've got a large power button here, and then cleverly, to get at the reset button, you have to actually open the front door, so that's hidden, prevent any accidental pressing of that. You can see there it's concealed. And then further back we've got a section there for storing anything like a mobile phone, keys, wallet, things like that. And then we've also got a large section towards the back which is perforated mesh, and we can store here you know, anything from a 200mm fan, and we can actually put the 2 smaller 120mm fans. Those that are familiar with the HAF 912 Plus will instantly recognise the interior on the Enforcer, because it carries a lot of the ideas, the design concepts and the layout from that case. We've got the toolless mechanisms for optical drives, so that just flicks back and forward to open or lock. We've got hard drive storage. We've got lots of options actually there. We've got this cage which I've removed, we'll come back to that a little bit later. We've got options for 2.5 inch, 3.5 inch drives, so no problems there at all. Good CPU cooler clearance, good graphics card clearance too, and we've got the cable management cutouts on the motherboard all round, you know, next to the power supply unit. We've got them around the motherboard, and we've also got the option at the very top here for the P4 connectors, which you can actually route behind, and you don't have to have them trailing across the motherboard. So I love that idea. That's always something that I like to look out for on cases. But coming back to the hard drive storage, we've got here the cage which I've actually taken out. This is the Asus 6950 DirectCU 2 graphics card, so Because of the length of that, I've actually had to remove the hard drive cage because it was touching. This is 11 inches, this graphics card, just over 11 inches, so it just about touches. But it's great that we've got the option to actually remove this cage, because without it we wouldn't be able to, obviously. But lots of different options. We can actually have it mounted in this orientation. We can have it this way. We can have hard disk drives mounted on top of here, SSDs, 2.5-inch drives. We've even got an adapter which you can install onto the top of this, and we can have the drive on top and we can have it inside the actual cage. And to install a drive, all we need to do is just take this out for you and show you. We've seen it on many cases, especially the Cooler Master ones. We've got the adapters there. These brackets just literally go into the hard drive holes, into the mounting holes like this, and then they literally just attach and slide in and click in, and it's a really sturdy operation that it fixes in place, no problems at all. So lots of hard drive storage, lots of different options there for you. You've even got a large 200mm fan behind that, so potentially without the cage you've got a lot of cooling ability. It's going to have unrestricted airflow across the motherboard, which is good to see. And I'll just show you the expansion slot covers. We've got 7 expansion slot covers on this mid tower, and just show you these. These have the ventilation slots for better airflow, but strangely we haven't actually got any thumb screws to hold these in. They're just the normal screws, so you will need to get your screwdriver out to extract these. Okay guys, just as a final clip, I thought I would power the system up, give you an idea for just how loud the case fans actually are inside the Enforcer. Obviously this isn't going to be a professional analysis of how loud the case fans are in terms of decibels and things like that. I'm just going to get the mic as close as possible to each fan, and that should just give you a flavour for how disruptive they are, how, you know, what to expect from in terms of the noise levels really. So the front fan is a 200mm fan. That's going to be plugged into the motherboard fan header, so that's going to be 7 volts. And then we've got the rear exhaust fan, and again that's going to be plugged into the motherboard, so that's going to be 7 volts too. So we'll power up, and we'll start with the front fan, which is 200mm, 7 volts running off the motherboard. And then moving to the rear, we've got the rear exhaust fan, 120mm, and this is again running off the fan header. This is 7 volts. Okay, so hopefully that has given you an idea for the noise levels coming from each fan inside the Enforcer. Obviously these are running off 7 volts, so it's not going to be very disruptive at all. And the airflow actually coming from that front fan is you know, quite remarkable. It's pushing a lot of air, so that's going to be good for airflow. And it's especially noticeable with the cage actually removed, so if you can remove the cage, it's probably going to be beneficial to airflow. So what's my actual overall verdict on the Enforcer? What's my opinion on it? Well, the HAF 912 Plus, I really did like that case, and I still do. I've got high regard for it, and the Enforcer takes a lot of the ideas, you know, the tools, mechanisms, hard drive storage, cooling situation, the layout, the clearance, cable management. So yeah, it's a great case, and in regards to the interior, really like it. The only real difference really is this front fascia here, and personally I prefer the half 912 Plus, and that's just because that's just personal preference. I mean, I don't really like this front bezel here. I much prefer the way they styled the 912 Plus. It does have its benefits, this door here. You know, you're obviously able to keep things away from dust and things like that, especially if you've got an SD card reader or any devices in the front of here. This is going to stop any dust or any knocking, things like that. So it is a good idea, but I just prefer the styling on the 912 Plus. So yeah, I mean, it's got some great features in here. I've obviously shown you the hard drive storage, which is second to none. You can, you know, have it in, just got it here. You can have it in different orientations. You can store 2.5-inch SSDs in here, 3.5-inch drives, and you know, on some of the cases that we've seen recently at Vortex, we've not actually been able to store 2.5-inch drives inside them, and for, you know, being in 2011 and SSDs are so frequent now and people are really investing in them, this is the sort of case that you want. You want to be able to store that kind of device in your case without any hassle. So it's a big thumbs up really for me, especially as we've got here, I'll just show you the USB 3. Now, on a lot of cases we have USB 3 via the actual, you know, the USB leads. They actually have to go into the input-output panel on your motherboard, so they're going to take up space. But this is the first case that I've actually seen this, and we've got a USB 3 header. So if your motherboard supports it, older motherboards probably won't do. A lot of the Sandy Bridge motherboards that have just come out, they actually have this port that you can plug into, and that's going to give you your functionality up front for USB 3. And this is the way things are going to go pretty much going forward. A lot more cases are going to have this kind of cable for your USB functionality, so it's great to see that Cooler Master actually starting things off with that. It's very good. So overall, very impressed with the Enforcer. It's a great case. It comes at a nice price point. It's got quite a lot of stiff competition, not just from other brands but Cooler Master themselves. So I don't know how things are going to fare, but obviously for gamers it's going to be a very attractive product with the side window and the nice red LED fan at the front. So as usual guys, thanks very much for watching. I've got an article on vortex.net, and that just goes into a bit more detail, just shows you the close-ups of all the components inside here. So if you want a bit more detail, go over to our website, take a look at that article, and thanks very much for watching. Please comment, rate and subscribe, and we've got some more videos coming soon.